is finally sunrise on the reaping night. I am so excited. A new Hunger Games book in the year of our Lord 2025. This is my first ever midnight release for a book, but also specifically the first time I'm reading a Hunger Games book as it's currently being published, because I was very late to the Hunger Games game. But I'm on it now, and that's what really matters. Putting on just a touch of makeup so that I don't look half asleep. So this midnight release party is being thrown by one of my favorite local indie bookstores. But on their Instagram, they said it's gonna be like trivia, something where they're like sorting people into different districts. And I don't even know what else, but it sounds like a blast. I am just like mildly anxious about going alone to this event, which I am no stranger to doing things in public alone. Like, I'll see a movie alone, I'll go to dinner alone. I'm very secure in myself, but something about going to an event where there are potentially people in teams for trivia, that one hits a little different. But hey, once I overcome this humiliation ritual, then pretty much I'll be able to go in public alone anywhere. But hey, you never know. Maybe I'll make some new bookish friends in my area tonight, so that's always an exciting prospect. Okay, here's the finished look. Got my little bookstore tote to bring with me so that everyone knows I am a book girly, in case that weren't obvious at the midnight release book party. And then of course in there, I have my Kindle just in... Okay. I have my Kindle just in case there is any awkward lull and I need it to not be obvious that I'm there alone. Okay. I literally grabbed it and ran home. So this is a first look together. One, it's shorter than I thought it would be. That's okay. It's like what? This is maybe the same size as like Catching Fire. I had like the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes in my head. I'm sad nonetheless. Like, one, gorgeous. Gorge. On the back, we have a little quote here that says, "When you've been set up to lose everything you love, what is there left to fight for?" There's about to be tears shed. Should we undress her? Yeah. I did not open it up, so we're gonna read the first line together. Okay, we have some quotes in the front. There's a quote from George Orwell, telling, William Blake, David Hume. Okay. Part 1, birthday. Oh my God, I forgot the reaping is on his birthday. Chapter 1. Happy birthday, Hamish. We're done. We're done here. No, wrap it up. The upside of being born on reaping day is that you can sleep late on your birthday. I'm not ready. I am so not ready. I'm gonna like take off my makeup, get ready for bed, and then bitch, we're reading. Like, and also, I just want to say the event was really fun, even though I went solo. I was just in a weird mood. I was a little bit nervous, but everyone was super sweet. And when we did trivia, the host ended up putting people into different districts. And so everyone was all mixed up from their groups anyway. So it wasn't even a big deal that I was there alone. And I made some friends. This is your sign if you're ever afraid to do something in public because you don't have someone to go with, just go. I guarantee no one cares that you're alone. The only person thinking about it is you. Just take this as a sign to go. Anyways. Let's get reading! Okay, 2 thoughts already. It's crazy reading this, kind of already knowing how the story ends, because immediately in the first chapter, we're being introduced to everyone in Hamish's family, and we know how that ends. My heart is already breaking. I don't know if I can take it. And the other thing is, I totally forgot that the second quarter quell the 50th Hunger Games, is the one where they do double the amount of tributes. And I'm just like, oh my god. I'm gonna keep reading. Okay, I don't know if we knew this, but Haymitch's bae, yeah, I said bae, is from the Covey. And get this, she tends to take a dark view of things, but maybe that's to be expected from someone named for a dead girl. Well, half for a dead girl called Lenore in this old poem, and half for a shade of gray, which I found out the day I met her. Who else do we know that was named after a poem, or a ballad, I should say, and whose last name was also Gray? Dove Gray? Very interesting indeed. We're still in chapter 1, so. Okay, I just confirmed her last name is Baird. Yep. So she's somehow related to Lucy Gray. There's an interesting part here that says her dad is somewhat of a mystery. I'm gonna hold on to that and see if it comes back later. Okay, I'm about maybe a third of the way into Sunrise on the Reaping. I am loving it. I don't know this for sure, but I feel like this might be the Hunger Games book with the most Easter eggs in it. Maybe Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes had more, but I feel like they're a lot more apparent in this book. For example, a lot of the characters are the younger versions of the ones that show up in the original trilogy, which makes sense. This was just 25 years before Katniss's first Hunger Games. One of them in particular, we just met a tribute from District 3, Ampert, who is the son of Beatty. We know Beatty. That was one that was really interesting because I wasn't expecting it. So I'm really excited and scared to see how his story is going to play out in the actual arena. Also, there's been so many references to the Covey and Lucy Gray. I think it's in chapter 3 that Haymitch actually mentions there's only ever been one winner from District 12, which we obviously know is Lucy Gray, but he talks about how no one really remembers her because the footage wasn't great back then, so they didn't document it very well, but of course, you and I know better, so I'm just loving it so far, and I'm sad. Like, I really can't wait to see where it goes. And I think what's been so fun about this one and the other prequel is just reading things where the characters don't really know what's going on, but you do because you have the context of how the story ends. Like, right now, what the part I'm reading is when Haymitch is at Plutarch's house talking with President Snow, and we're seeing signs of Snow poisoning himself, which obviously Haymitch doesn't know the full extent of that right now, so I just love it. I just love being in the know. So those are my thoughts so far. It's amazing. We knew it would be. And I'm just gonna keep reading. Quick update, Haymitch is in the games. Haymitch is in that arena. But let's back it up a little bit. Effie Trinket. I don't know why, I just wasn't expecting her to be in here, and I love getting a little bit of her origin story too, how she came to actually like work in District 12 and just some of her background. I think Effie is such an interesting character. She has such an interesting perspective of someone who grew up with propaganda spoon-fed to them and was able to hold on to her empathy and switch sides essentially. So I would love to see more of her. I don't know if we're gonna see her again in the remainder of the book since the rest is probably the games and obviously she's not in there, but I love the taste of it. So, and now, yes, we are in the actual arena. It's been a minute since I've read the original trilogy, so I can't remember how or when we learned about Haymitch's games. Probably in Mockingjay. I mean, there's a lot of the story we already knew before going into this. I just remember hearing about the arena before, about how it was like essentially all poisonous, and now we're seeing that play out, and it's just terrifying. What would you even do? Like, from the context I had in the other books before reading this, I don't remember hearing anything about the plot to like blow up the water tank. I may just be misremembering, but it's sort of creating this dread in me that it's not gonna work. I mean, I think we know that, like, had it worked, the revolution would have happened sooner? Or maybe not, I don't know. Seeing the role that Plutarch is already playing in the rebellion, it's just very interesting, and I'm really wondering what happened in the like 25 years before Katniss's games. Like, what else was going on to support the cause of the rebellion? Obviously, we know stuff was like being prepared in District 13, but like, what was Haymitch doing? Being sad, probably. My forehead just left a grease mark on the book. Okay, I need to stop speculating and just read it, I guess. Keep me awake. Keep me awake. Oh my god. It hurt so bad. Like, I knew it would, but truly devastating. Like, my heart is broken. I'm like just so happy to have the full rounded picture of Haymitch and his story. I feel like it really drastically changes the way you view him in the trilogy. In the first book, he comes off as very stony or cold, I guess you could say. And by Mockingjay, we definitely see more of him, and we even hear about his story then. Getting to see just how much the Capitol took from him. How is he even standing? Like, I mean, obviously that's why he's drinking so much. I thought it was a fantastic installment in the series. As they say, Suzanne Collins really only writes a new book in the Hunger Games series when she has something to say. This book was very much about the implicit submission that Haymitch mentions over and over again in the book. I thought that was brilliant and just so necessary right now. Interestingly, I just finished reading The Handmaid's Tale, and when I finished it, I watched a video essay on it where the creator of the video talks about how oppressive totalitarian governments like that are sort of like a table, and they're only able to stand because of the legs that hold them up, and when you knock those down, the government fails. One of the most prominent legs is that implicit submission. Those who comply willingly, unwillingly, implicitly, because they think there's no other way. They think they can't bring about change, so they continue to accept the fate that's given to them. When you knock down that pillar, the government really struggles to stay afloat. And that's why it's just so important to fight back against that. And Suzanne was right. That was just a message that we all really needed to hear right now, especially to my fellow Americans. I hope you feel inspired to fight back and use your voice. Don't just accept that things have to be the way they are because they've always been that way or because an executive order told you. You should always be questioning authority. And I thought that was just amazingly well done in Haymitch's story. Now, as far as the actual book goes, I ended up rating it 4 out of 5 stars. And I'd say it's probably my least favorite out of the whole series. Stick with me. That does not mean I didn't like it or that it's bad by any means. It's just that I really love the other ones. Now, the reason this was lacking that 5-star quality for me, I think is just because I was unable to connect deeply with some of the characters. And I think primarily Lenore Dove. I'd say it's probably just because she doesn't have enough page time. That's just sort of how it goes in the story. Haymitch is away at the Capitol in the games, so they don't have a lot of time to be together. But what we did see of Lenore Dove really felt like a continuation of Lucy Gray. I didn't feel like she had enough time to really develop herself as her own character. That's just my opinion. I still loved her and I loved their love story, and getting to see kind of the glimpse of how Haymitch really does carry that with him for the rest of his life. And the bit in the epilogue, how he's taking care of his geese. He says like, oh my God, I'm like trying not to tear up. He says, "We really did mate for life." Like, that's not a joke to me. That's serious. I loved all the tributes so much. I grew to really be fond of Maisie, and I thought she was a fantastic antithesis to Lenore Dove, actually, or I guess character foil, you could say. I think had Lenore and Maisie got to actually spend more time together, they would have found that they are really more similar than they thought, because they both had so much rage inside them, but they showed it in such different ways. You can see the different ways that a situation like this affects a person depending on their background. I'm so excited to go back and reread the other stories and just finish connecting all the dots. It took me way too long to realize that Burdock and Astrid were Katniss's parents, but seeing that story kind of in the background was really lovely as well. And actually, I saw a tweet, I'll put it here if I can find it again, talking about how in Catching Fire, Haymitch sort of promises both Katniss and Peeta that he'll save one or the other. And the tweet was talking about how, regardless of the rebellion, Haymitch was always gonna save Katniss over Peeta because that was his best friend's little girl. No, like don't talk to me. Suzanne Collins, you've done it again. A kiss to you from me. I would be so sad for another book. I don't really care what it is. I will read it. I think the story I'm most interested to hear after reading this one is Plutarch, because that was another aspect I really loved about this, getting to see how involved he was with the rebellion much before the trilogy. I didn't really expect that. So I'd like to see more of his story and learn how such a rich member of the Capitol became a rebel sympathizer. I want to know. So that concludes my thoughts. Thanks so much to you for watching. I hope we can continue this conversation in the comments below because I want to know your thoughts on the book. I want to know if you think she's going to continue on with the series, and if so, which story you want to hear. Okay, one final thought. I'm sorry, I should have collected my thoughts before filming. When Haymitch goes to visit Lenore Dove's grave, there are multiple graves: Maud Ivory, Lucy Gray, and Lenore Dove. That really stuck out to me because I was wondering, does that mean Lucy Gray did die in the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and they found her body and buried her? But then I was like, I feel like they would have put up that headstone for her if she had escaped and disappeared, sort of just as a memorial to her anyway. So I don't think we have any more answers on that, which I'm fine with. Also, do you think that Lenore Dove is Maud Ivory's daughter? I think I saw a tweet saying that. I don't know if I connected it myself while reading, so if anyone has evidence, drop it in the comments. So with that, signing off. Thank you so much for watching, and may the odds be ever in your favor.